Good afternoon. I'm Stephanie Sellers. I will be moderator for the student panel. I would like to introduce to you our students before I tell you what the question is. That's okay? The question that they will be speaking to and addressing this afternoon. First, Lisa Fettig. If you would stand, please, so they can see you. Thank you. She's a double major in Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies and Anthropology. She's been a member of Tri Sigma since spring 2009 and an active supporter of allies throughout her college career. She has enjoyed serving as historian for her sorority. Lisa is now toying with the idea of pursuing a PhD in Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies, en route to becoming a human rights lawyer. This is Lisa. Next is Jessica Buckley. Thank you. Class of 2010 is a Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies minor and an English major with a writing concentration. She is a member of the Gettysburg College women's rugby team and the nonfiction editor for the student-run literary magazine, The Mercury. She aspires to work in publishing after graduation. Jessica Buckley. Next is Francesca DiBiaso, 2012. She is an art history major, co-president of Peace Club, program coordinator at the Gettysburg College Women's Center, and a Peace House leader. She looks forward to studying studio art, nutrition, and Italian culture in Florence, Italy this coming fall, and aspires to be a healing arts therapist for women and girls worldwide. Francesca DiBiaso. Next is Gabriella Gaona, 2011. She is a Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies major and Latin American Studies minor. Gabby is the president of the Latin American Studies Association, multicultural student coordinator for admissions, and is a residence life community leader. She is an active member of the Black Student Union and is currently an intern at Planned Parenthood. Gabby loves working with people and helping others and looks forward to obtaining a master's degree in social work. Gabby. Next is Deontay Austin, 2011, from Baltimore, Maryland. He is a Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies major and Africana Studies minor. Deontay is president of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, vice president of the Black Student Union, member of the ADDIC Activities Board, and member of Fostering Change Organization, and an unsure but brilliant career path is awaiting for you. I asked the students to consider this question. As members of the upcoming feminist generation, how has your education affected you? And how will you take what you have learned and use it in your lives and careers? Shall we start? And Lisa, if you would like to talk about that, come on up.
I think a key aspect of my education here at Gettysburg College has been this multiple perspective approach to covering all the topics that I have studied, especially as both an anthropology and women's gender and sexuality studies double major. The breadth of material that I've been able to study in both of these subjects has been just, it's enormous, and I've been able to really expose myself to a lot of different issues. And, you know, especially within the department itself, specifically women, gender, and sexuality studies, the diverse amount of opinions and ideas and attitudes within the department, I think, is wonderful. None of us come to the material from the same perspective. And the fact that every student can interact with different professors in different manners to cover different material, I think, is great. I think for me, the direction that feminism is moving in my direction is kind of rethinking how to interpret what things are. How do we redefine different topics? how do we even approach the material that we're studying? And I think that just kind of continuing to question, why are we studying things the way we are? Like, how can we do this differently? And just, continuously engaging in the material in that manner. I've always questioned things. I've always wondered why things are the way they are. And I think that my experience here has just encouraged me to continue questioning and continue engaging and continue to learn about all these different topics. And I think what's wonderful here is that we have an opportunity and a place where we can talk about so many different topics and to continue the dialogue. And for me, I've just been able to have a lot of introspective conversations with myself. What does my identity mean to me? What does it mean for me to be a woman? Why am I a woman? How am I a woman? And just, I've been able to really, learn a lot about myself throughout the program and being able to interact with the people who I've been able to interact with. And I think for me, a lot of these issues, I want to increase other people's awareness of, well, who am I? Who are you? Why do we think of people the way we do? One personal issue for me has been being involved in Greek life on campus. What does Greek life mean for different people? And I found that people have seen me very differently after I joined a sorority than what they did before. And when I was considering joining, I was thinking, am I really just buying into kind of this greater organization, or am I losing something of myself? Are people going to see me as not having ownership over my own mind and my own ideas anymore? And so for me, it's been a very personal struggle throughout this, and I just want to keep the discussion going and just encourage people to talk about these issues and just not be afraid to approach every single one of these aspects.
And next, Francesca.
Well, I want to start off by thanking everyone who got up here and spoke today. You guys did a really good job of creating like an atmosphere that's really welcoming and kind of easygoing. And I always find that admitting that I'm really nervous kind of helps me not be as nervous. So I'm just gonna like say that I'm really nervous and like take a deep breath and then I'll feel better. I guess a lot of you aren't on campus as much as we are, obviously, except for the teachers and the faculty. So I want to take this opportunity to explain to everyone the campus environment from my perspective. And I want to talk about something that has shaped my college experience here. It's focused my direction in life, and it's inspired my dedication and admiration for feminism. And that is the opportunity and atmosphere for social justice activism at Gettysburg College. I have everything written down that I want to say, but I'm going to pretend like I'm making it up on the spot. Okay, so I'm going to start off talking about what activism looks like on our campus. It brings together a group of individuals who share a common philosophy on a political, environmental, cultural, religious, or economic injustice that can be vigorously brought into change through various methods of action. On our campus, activism offers the community opportunities for consciousness raising, education, and inspiration by way of collaborative campaigns such as concerts, demonstrations, community service, exhibitions, discussions, films, artwork, and publications. And these are all things that we've all seen on this campus. Just there's all different methods have been utilized, and they're all really creative and exciting. All these methods have a central goal to create new, humane, beneficial ideologies and destroy outdated, unjust ideologies. I'd also like to point out what amazes me most about the social justice activism at Gettysburg, and what I'd like to point out is that, for the most part, all of the social justice activism organizations on Gettysburg College are funded by female students. These women have immensely shaped and enriched the dynamic of local and global action and awareness through their charisma, their dedication, their organizational skills, their intuition, and their right to be respected and heard. Women on our campus have the remarkable opportunity to become a part of a progressive, universal movement which diligently dedicates itself to the establishment of prosperity, equality, and peace for every single living thing. The GLBT, Gay, Lesbian, Bisexual, Transgender Alliance, Amnesty International, Students for a Democratic Society, Peace Club, Gettysburg Environmental Concerns Organization, NAACP, President's right there, Camilla, the Latin American Students Association, President Gabby, all have elected female leaders and all share a common mission to confront discrimination and ignorance and to promote diverse perspectives, community, and education. Activism at Gettysburg College has become yet another vehicle through which women can become leaders, and they have certainly taken advantage of this opportunity. Now, answering the question about how I'm going to take what I've learned here and apply it to my life and my career, I am a leader myself in the Peace Club, and I will take what I've learned about women's leadership, which encompasses empowerment, patience, creativity, and egalitarianism, and use it in collaboration with others in order to preserve human rights, foster peace and equality, and to empower women and girls that I come across for as long as I live. And lastly, I want to talk about maybe our biggest challenge, and there's always challenges, and in order to make progress towards the future, we need to collaborate and talk about how we can kind of fight these challenges. And I think talking with other students, the biggest one we face is apathy, and I think that's not even just like on our campus, but it's like in the world. And I think that having conversations and support from women and men like yourselves keeps us really motivated and inspired, and it preserves our voices and lets us be honored, so I thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabby. Francesca and Gabby. There's no return.
Hello, my name is Gabby. I'm a junior and a women's gender sexualities major, studies major. I would have to say that I love all my professors in the women's studies department. They're all great and they inspire me to do anything in the world. To be honest with you, I never actually thought I would be in this school. I come from Queens, New York, and I've always worked hard to be a good student, to have the good grades. But my dad didn't have the money to get me here. But fortunately, I was part of this program, College Bound, which gave opportunities for students that have good grades and have the potential to do really well in school. And I was one of them. I ended up here. My education has always been everything to me. Education for me is something that I'm so grateful for and I'm blessed to have, because my dad and my mom, they only made it up to the 6th grade. And it has affected me in all ways. One way, it's made me more confident, especially being a women, gender, sexuality studies major. I feel more confident and I feel like I'm more independent. I can do whatever I set my mind to. Especially having great professors and just the way they talk and the way their experiences have made them come a long way. Also, in the future, I would love to be a social worker, and my passion is helping mothers and just helping women and children. Not having a mother has made me just really passionate about helping children, and without mothers or mothers with children, and that's what I want to do in the future. Let's see. I'm really nervous. But yeah, my education, being a woman, gender and sexualities major, I don't have my dad's support, but because he doesn't really know about it, but I've been able to just make that my motivation, and actually show him that I can do whatever. I can do anything that he thinks that I can't do with a women's gender sexuality.
Thanks, Gabby. And Deontay?
Again, I'm Deontay Austin. I'm a junior here at Gettysburg College from Baltimore, Maryland. So 2 years ago, I was a freshman, and I had no idea what a feminist was. Honestly, like before I came to college, I had no idea what it was. I never learned about it in high school. The most that I knew about women's issues was different women that they talked about in textbooks, which were very few. So, I didn't really know many women that impacted the world until I came to college. My first year, I had to take a seminar class with Professor Vita Richardson, and that was my first encounter with women's movement and feminists, and this whole idea of a different world that I had no idea about. At first, I was skeptical about taking the class. I was like, why am I in a women's gender, well, it wasn't women's gender sexuality, but it was women's studies. I was like, why am I in a women's studies class? I'm a male, so that was my ignorance on that behalf. So I took the class, and I was one of 2 male students in the class, and I was nervous, and I had no idea what the class was going to be about. I thought I was going to be bashed as a male, but I absolutely wasn't. And that was one of my major decisions as well. I wanted to be a women's studies major. I learned so much about the women's movement, what it meant to be a feminist. I learned a lot about myself as well. And she was one of the first professors, like I said, to encounter with the movement. So she kind of inspired me, as well as Professor Sellers and Professor LeBone. I took their 120 class sophomore year to learn more about the different organizations that impacted the world. So that's why I became a women's studies major. I'm in a fraternity, as you can see what she announced. And a lot of times I tell my frat brothers, I'm a women's gender sexuality major, and they say, what is that? So I'm always getting that question from my frat brothers, my friends, my family, everybody. And every time I tell them, I tell them what it is, and most likely they think that I'm studying women sexually. I'm like, that's not it. So, that's not exactly it. It's different than that. So often I find myself explaining what the major is, and I take pride in that now. At first I was skeptical about it, and I was afraid to speak about it. In class sometimes, when beginning of the semester, we have to go around and say our names, where we're from, what major we are. And sometimes I'm a women's gender sexuality major, trying to say it so people wouldn't really hear me. But now I take pride in saying that I am a part of this major. I love the professors, like Gabby said. And I find myself always explaining what the major is, and I feel like as an African-American male on this campus and even off campus, as you can see, I can spread awareness of what the major encompasses. I can spread awareness of different women's issues and different issues regarding sexuality, gender, race, whatever the case might be. And coming to college, I understood that I was underprivileged as a black male, from white privilege, but I never understood that I had a male privilege. So being in this major, I was really able to realize that, I'm underprivileged in one way, but I'm privileged in another way, and it makes the world so complex. It's all these different identities being thrown at you, and you have to live through your life through those identities, and it's like you're oppressed this way, and you're suppressing somebody another way. So now I try my hardest not to suppress women and just look at people for who they are and notice the differences in people, because everybody in this room is different. We all come from different backgrounds. We experience different things in life. So I feel like that's one of the important things that I've learned throughout this major, and even with my minor Africana studies. Let's see, I wrote a bunch of stuff. I feel like I said nothing that was on this paper. So being a major, I was able to learn how to interact with different people on a day-to-day basis, just being in college and on this campus. It's so many different people. I feel like this campus is so conservative, it's a lot of conservatives, really conservative. So being a women's gender sexuality major, coming from a male perspective, that's unheard of, and most males probably look at me like, why such a major? But again, I take pride in that, and it's something that I am proud of. And as far as what I plan on doing with my major, I'm really unsure. A lot of people ask me, what do you plan on doing with it? I say, I don't know, get a job just like anybody else. So hopefully I'll get a job. I know I'll get a job after college. And I do plan on being an activist in women's studies, race, sexual, whatever the case might be. So that's my take on the direction that feminism is going. I do consider myself a feminist. My mother is a feminist, and sometimes I have to explain to her what a feminist exactly is. You know, so again, I find myself explaining a lot of things to different people. So Jessica here, so she can talk oh, okay. Do you want to open it up? No. Oh, and also, if any students in here, tonight, I'm doing a little promoting right now, but tonight the BSU is hosting fashion show. Doors open at 6:30. Admission is $6. All proceeds are going to a care organization in Haiti to help with the relief program there. So if you guys are not doing anything, even professors come out tonight at 6:30 in the College Union Ballroom. That's it.
Since we have some time remaining with our students, I'm wondering if you would like to ask them any questions. Or so, thank you, Jamila.
Deontay, do you feel that the fact you have to continue to explain like what the major is that like a step in the right direction?
Yes and no. I feel like now it's 2010. I feel like people should know what it is. It's been around for years. It's not something new. Women have fought to get majors. This major here at different colleges back in the 50s, 40s, whatever the case might be. And I feel like men and even other women should understand what the major is. Unfortunately, that's not the case. So in a way, it is a stepping stone to me explaining, me being able to spread awareness to other individuals. It is a stepping stone, but at the same time, it's like you should know about these different ideas.
Can you turn the smaller mics on?
Oh. Hello.
What do they press?
Oh, they-
Oh, no.
oh,
The green one.
What else would you like to ask of our students? Amy?
I was wondering, for any or all of you who'd like to answer, how have the sort of theoretical frameworks you've learned about in women's gender and sexuality studies or perspectives that you've gained, how have you been able to bring those into courses in other departments or maybe re-examine political or social issues in a new way, something like that?
Well, one thing that I've noticed is there is a lot of overlap within a lot of the disciplines, especially women's studies being so interdisciplinary. And for example, in anthropology, the theory class that we were having the same readings, some of the same readings as in my feminist theories reader. And I think that what I've been able to do is just, again, for me, a lot of this is the approach to how I'm learning and the different approaches that I have been able to learn. Just, you can take to any material that you study.
What did you ask?
Well, last semester was like our first. Well, we took the class together. I forgot the name, but it was like theory something. Yeah. What is it called? Oh, feminist theory. Yeah. Maybe I should know that. But theory is very difficult, and it's very difficult to understand. And I feel like a lot of times there are disconnects, and it is a lot of overlaps. There are a lot of overlaps, and sometimes when you read different feminist theories, you see how theories can be contradicted at sometimes, and also overlapping. So it's kind of difficult to kind of wrap your mind around these different ideas and to take them into your own life and apply it out in the world. Currently, right now, we're taking a collective practicum class, and pretty much we have to go out and do service learning hours at a different program. I'm doing Women, Infant, and Children with the WIC program. Gabby is doing Planned Parenthood, and some of the theory that we've learned in the class last semester, we have to apply it with the course this semester that we're taking also in the WIC program. So I feel like it does apply to real life situations, and although it is difficult to understand, we use it every day, and it should be practiced every day.
Gabby, did you wish to add?
Something that I've kind of picked up is they're talking about like the interdisciplinary part of it, and what I've learned is that there are always like two sides to the story. There's the kind of the patriarchal and cultured canon that we've learned, and then there's like the truth. And that's kind of like what I've learned from like feminist theory. I know my art history professor is over here at Charles Small, and we have our textbooks, and they're like the popular textbook, and we learn about a work of art. But then she has us go to the library and read feminism and art history, and it's this completely different interpretation, and it makes so much more sense, and it draws from so many more like clues from that time period, as opposed to the textbook, which just kind of like makes things up that like would make sense, but there's no evidence. And I think what feminism does is it gives us like real evidence, as opposed to like things that people just assume and then teach us, and that's kind of why I appreciate feminism.
I have a question for the students. I would like to hear their thoughts about how they see feminism evolving in terms of practices, events, programs, activities, academic programs, departments, textbooks, so on and so forth. Just anything very broadly here on our campus. What do you are the rising generation, so I'm wondering, what do you see in the future? What would you like to see here at our institution that reflects those ideals?
Well, you can tell that we're a very diverse group, and I'm really glad that the Women's Studies Department, well, Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies Department is reaching out to a more diverse group. And in the future, I can see a lot of Latinos being Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies major, which I'm very hopeful for that in the future.
As far as programming, being in the Black Student Union and FCO and the president of my fraternity, I want to see more programming and events evolving from feminist thought or whatever the case might be. I know last year, my sophomore year, after the incident with Lee Silverstein happened, my fraternity, we wanted to do a domestic violence talk, but it was kind of too soon to talk about the issue, and people were still mourning over the situation, so it was kind of like we shouldn't do it right. It was like a week after that we wanted to do something about it, but we had to step back and realize it wasn't an appropriate time to do that. So we haven't picked up on that this year, but hopefully in the future we can do more things surrounding women's issues, and even with LISA or the Peace Club or Peace House, whatever organization it might be. So in the future, I'm hoping to see more events catered to the program and also the media. So.
I think along the lines of Gabby, I'd like to see the program become much more diverse, especially with the student population that's within the classes, because although we are a very diverse group, I think that there still are a lot more groups that could be incorporated, and a lot more different, and a lot more people, because everyone has a different voice. And then also, I think more programming events where we have more dialogues to talk about these issues. And I know we have at the Women's Center the healthy relationship discussions, and I think that's one of the steps in which that we can take as kind of a program and as a department to really get people to start talking. And I think just continuing to have people have an opportunity to talk and to express their different views in a safe, respectful area.
I would also like to see more males. I'm the only guy, sometimes I have to defend myself from the male perspective, so definitely more males in the media.
Well, I would like to pick up on that, because I think you've all got these great ideas, and I think it's great, Kathy, that you are the first male, but how are you going to get economy of scale? What are you going to do to bring more men along to understand? I mean, and maybe this is something you need to help them answer, because, as we said, I mean, it's men and women and whatever together that we have to think about. So, how are you going to do that? Because you're going to lead the way.
I don't know. I think it's hard. To me, women's issues is everybody's issues. And I feel like men are afraid to step outside of their comfort zones. I stepped outside of my comfort zone, so another man can do the same thing. So I feel like a lot of times we are afraid to be different. We are afraid to step away from the different majors. I know a lot of men want to be engineers, doctors, lawyers. You know, those are the stereotypical majors that men major in, and I feel like a lot of times they're afraid because they feel like this major might not make as much money as those other majors. I feel like people just need to really take classes, different classes, and just learn different, like different realms of, I don't know, like that's what a liberal arts education is, I feel like. And I feel like again, men are afraid. And I talk to my guy friends all the time. You can ask Carl, I tell him, you know, you should take a women's and sexuality class. He's like, okay, maybe.
Well, speak.
Yes.
He's actually in a class that I think is African American women writers, so you know that's the step. And I often do talk to many of my guy friends say, you know, you should take more women and sexuality classes. As far as getting them to major, I'm not sure how we can do that. Maybe we need to make ourselves more visible on campus. So.
Like speaking on behalf of the men, I think I'm not scared. I'm actually, I think it's just being vocal and being proactive on campus. I think that's something that really influenced, because I know just sitting here like witnessing and hearing about all of you guys' experiences, like I'm glad that you guys opened it up for all people to come and see this panel, because I know I'm impacted already, and it's hearing you guys' experiences have impacted me, just like sitting here, because you all have different stories, you all have different backgrounds and experiences where it has impacted me just sitting here already. So, and I don't think I'm scared, but I'm ready. So I think I like it, and I think it'll be more of it.
Just to answer that question, because I work in the Women's Center, I feel like one thing, there's a lot of assumptions already made. So by name the title Women's Center, men already think, oh, I can't go there. It's about women. And I continuously tell my friends, no, you're all invited. It's a place to speak. So I feel like once we get past these basic assumptions that people make just because you just don't know, and you're just foreign and not ignorant in the sense of being rude, or just lack of knowledge of what it is. Once we get past that, we're just having these different talks and different programs and all these things, then I can see the, you know, yes, progression of the major and all of that. And also with Deontay, you are taking like a very big step, and you will have to probably be that foreground person for other males to feel comfortable to come in and join this major and be a part of this movement. So I actually congratulate you.